You think blood always wins? You think the person who shows up last gets to rewrite the whole story? My name is Alex Kane. For 34 years, my father, Thomas Kane, wasn't just my dad. He was the only constant I ever had. Until Carla walked in, until the new family arrived, until the funeral, when they looked me straight in the eye and said, "We want the lake house, the cabin up in the Smokies, the car dealerships, the entire estate, everything." And I smiled politely, nodded, and said, "Okay, you can have it all." They thought I'd broken. They thought grief had finally crushed me. They had no idea I was already 3 steps ahead, because my father left me something far more valuable than property. He left me proof, and he left me permission. If you've ever been erased from your own family photo, if you've ever watched strangers move into your childhood home like they built it, stick around. This one ends with them begging me to take it back. Hit that like button if you believe family isn't just DNA, it's who stays when the cameras are off. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because part 2 is coming, and trust me, you don't want to miss the moment their smiles disappear. Comment the city you're watching from right now. I read every single one. Let's see how far this revenge has traveled. It started at Dad's funeral, small Baptist church outside Asheville, North Carolina. Late October, the kind of crisp air that makes your lungs hurt. Most people had already left. The lilies were starting to droop. I stood by the casket, still trying to understand how a man who could bench press me at 15 could look so small now. That's when Carla approached. Black dress, perfect mascara, eyes red but only in the places makeup could fake. She placed a hand on my forearm, gentle, practiced. "Alex, we should talk about your father's wishes soon. The dealerships, the lake house on Fontana, the Smoky Mountain cabin. We need to keep everything together, for the family." Behind her stood my half-sister, Brooke, Carla's daughter with Dad, 26, always perfectly posed for photos, and standing next to Brooke was Tyler, Carla's son from her first marriage, 31, already wearing the watch Dad used for special occasions. I felt the shift in the air the second Tyler adjusted that watch on his wrist, like he'd already sized it up as his. I nodded once. "Of course, we'll figure it out." They exchanged glances, quick, relieved, almost victorious. They walked away arm in arm, a perfect blended family portrait. I stayed by the casket a little longer, whispered the same thing I'd whispered to him every night the last 3 months. "I've got you, Dad. I've always got you." Later that night, I went back to the house on the lake, the one Dad and I rebuilt together when I was 19. Every board, every window, every stone on the fireplace, we placed them side by side. The house still smelled like him, pine, motor oil, and the faintest hint of the cigars he swore he'd quit. I walked into my old room, the one that never changed. Same twin bed, same shelf with the fishing lures we tied together, same photo of just the 2 of us on the dock after I caught my first bass. I was 11, grinning like I'd won the lottery. I sat at the little desk Dad built for me, opened the bottom drawer. That's when I found it. A plain white envelope. No stamp. Just my name in his handwriting. "Alex. Only open if it feels wrong." My hands started shaking before I even broke the seal. Inside was one sentence written on a small card. "Find Daniel Voss. He has the rest." Below that, a phone number. No area code. Just 10 digits. I stared at it for almost 10 minutes. Then I did what any sane person would do at 1:17 a.m. after burying their father. I Googled the number. Daniel Voss, attorney at law. Asheville, North Carolina. Specializing in trusts, estates, and contested probate. I bookmarked it, deleted the search history, and went to bed with the envelope under my pillow. Sleep didn't come. 3 days later, they came to the house. Unannounced, of course. Carla leading, Brooke carrying a bakery box. Just I brought Dad's favorite cinnamon rolls. Tyler carrying a leather portfolio like he was about to close a deal. They sat in the living room, on the couch Dad and I picked out at a flea market in Waynesville 15 years ago. Carla opened the folder. I know this is painful, sweetheart, but Thomas was very clear in the end. He wanted stability for Brooke. He wanted the dealerships to stay in the family name. The lake house, well, it's where we made so many memories. Brooke nodded solemnly. Dad told me last Christmas he wanted me to have the Smoky Mountain cabin. He said it was my legacy. Tyler slid the document across the coffee table. Latest will, signed 3 months ago, notarized, witnessed, everything clean. You get the life insurance payout, $280,000 after taxes. That should give you a good fresh start. I looked at the pages. Dad's signature looked perfect. Too perfect. I remembered the last time I saw him conscious. His hands shook so badly he couldn't hold a coffee cup without spilling. 3 months ago, he could barely sign his own name. I didn't say any of that. I just said, I need a few days to read everything carefully, out of respect for Dad. Carla smiled, the same smile she used when she wanted something from the waitress. Of course, honey, take your time. We're all in this together. They left. The door clicked shut, and the house felt colder than it had since the funeral. That night, I called the number. Daniel Voss answered on the second ring. Alex Kane? Yes? Your father told me you'd call. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., my office. Bring whatever documents they gave you. He hung up. No pleasantries, no sympathy, just business. I liked him already. The next morning, I drove downtown Asheville, past the art galleries, past the breweries, past the tourists taking pictures of the Biltmore gates. Voss's office was on the 3rd floor of an old brick building. No fancy receptionist, just a wooden door with a brass nameplate. He was in his early 60s, salt and pepper hair, eyes that had seen too many family fights. He didn't waste time. Show me the will they gave you. I slid it across. He scanned it, then laughed, short, dry. This is the old one. Your father revoked it 5 months ago. My heart slammed against my ribs. Revoked? Completely. He came to me in secret, didn't trust the old firm anymore. Too many hospital visitors asking too many questions about valuations. He pulled out a thick black binder. This is the current instrument, a revocable living trust, dated after the will they showed you. Capacity affidavit from his neurologist attached, everything airtight. He opened it to the first page. Beneficiary? Alexander Thomas Kane. Sole trustee. Sole discretionary power over distribution. Everything. The 2 dealerships in Asheville and Hendersonville, the lake house on Fontana, the cabin in the Smokies, the brokerage accounts, the rental properties in Black Mountain, all mine. To keep, to sell, to give away. My choice. I stared at the page so long, the letters started to blur. Voss leaned back. He recorded a message for you. 2, actually. 1 short, 1 long. He said, give him the long one when you're ready. I looked up. I'm ready. He turned his laptop toward me, pressed play. Dad's face appeared. Thinner, paler, but eyes still sharp. Hey kid, if you're watching this, things probably got messy. I'm sorry I couldn't say it in person. He took a slow breath. I love Brooke. I really do. She's my daughter. But I also know how easy it is for new memories to slowly erase old ones. I watched it happen, little by little. The lake house became our house. The dealerships became family business, and you slowly became the guest. He looked straight into the camera. You never asked for more than your place, Alex. That's why I'm giving you the whole thing. Not because you're better, because you're the only one who remembers how it started. Just the two of us, before anyone else showed up. He smiled, small, tired, real. Do whatever you want with it. Keep it, share it, burn it to the ground. I trust you. That's all that matters. The screen went black. I sat there for almost 2 full minutes, silent. Voss didn't speak either. Finally, I looked at him. What now? Now, you decide how much theater you want. I wiped my face with the back of my hand. I want them to feel it, just once, the way I've been feeling it for years. He nodded once. Then we'll give them the full show. If you're still here, you already know this isn't over. Part 2 is where the masks come off, where the smiles freeze, where they realize the house, the cars, the money were never really theirs to take. Drop a fire if you want them to feel every second of it. Comment your city, I'm reading them all. And if you've ever been pushed out of your own family's story, tell me, you're not alone. Like, subscribe, turn on the bell. See you in part 2. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you missed the part where they thought they'd already won. They walked out of my father's funeral thinking the lake house, the Smokies cabin, the 2 dealerships, everything my dad built with his hands over 40 years was finally theirs. They smiled at me like I was the charity case, getting a consolation check. They had no idea Dad had already rewritten the ending. And now it's time for the reveal. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, pause this right now, go back, because this only hits right when you know how deep the betrayal ran. Like this video if you're ready to watch their faces change. Subscribe if you want to see how far greed can push people and how hard they fall when the truth finally shows up. Comment your city again. I'm still reading every one. Last time we had people from Sydney, Toronto, London, small towns in Texas. Let's break the Mac this time. Here we go. After the meeting with Daniel Voss, I didn't rush. I waited. I let them text me. Let them call. Let them drop by the lake house with coffee and fake concern. Carla, just checking in, honey. Have you had a chance to look over the papers? Brooke, we're thinking of having a little family gathering at the cabin this weekend. Would be nice if you came. Tyler, hey man, the accountants are asking about next quarter's projections. We should probably get the titles sorted soon. I answered every message the same way. Still going through everything. Need a little more time. Thanks for understanding. Each thanks tasted like battery acid. Meanwhile, I met Daniel Voss 3 more times. We went over every detail. The trust was bulletproof. North Carolina law gave me complete control as trustee. No mandatory distributions, no co-beneficiaries, no forced sales. But Dad had gone one step further. He'd placed strategic liens on almost everything. The lake house, refinanced 2 years ago at 92% LTV during a low-rate window. On paper, it looked like negative equity if anyone tried to pull cash out fast. The cabin? Same thing. Home equity line maxed, then frozen. The dealerships? Floor plan financing bumped up during the last expansion. Dad had personally guaranteed it and structured the trust so any new owner outside the trust would trigger immediate calls from the lenders. It wasn't sabotage, it was a safety net. Dad's exact words from the longer video, the one I watched alone at 3 a.m. with a bottle of his favorite bourbon. I didn't do this to punish anyone, Alex. I did it so no one could just cash out my life in 6 months and walk away. If they really want it, they'll have to earn it the hard way. Or they can let you decide. That's the only fair thing left. He trusted me with the keys, not because I was perfect, because I was the only one who never once asked for them. The final meeting was scheduled 2 weeks later. Conference room at Voss's office, neutral ground. Everyone had to show up in person, no Zoom, no excuses. I walked in wearing the same dark gray suit I wore to the funeral, same tie Dad gave me for my college graduation. Voss was already seated at the head of the table, black binder in front of him, laptop closed. I sat to his right. Carla, Brooke, and Tyler filed in 3 minutes later. Carla in a cream blazer, power move. Brooke in soft pastels, innocent daughter vibe. Tyler carrying the same leather portfolio, looking like he'd already mentally redecorated the dealership showrooms. They sat across from us. Carla smiled that practiced smile again. "Thank you for setting this up, Daniel. We just want to wrap things up peacefully, for Thomas's sake." Voss didn't smile back. He opened the binder. "Before we discuss the will you've all been referencing, there's a superseding instrument that must be entered into the record." He slid the trust document across the polished table. Tyler reached for it first, eager. His eyes scanned the first page, then slowed, then stopped. Revocable living trust, dated 5 months ago? Carla leaned over. "What is this?" Voss spoke calm, like he was reading the weather. "Thomas Kane executed this trust while he still had full testamentary capacity, confirmed by affidavit from his neurologist, dated same day. The prior will, the one you presented, was explicitly revoked in writing. This trust is now the controlling document." Silence hit the room like someone turned off the oxygen. Brooke whispered, "But Dad said—" Voss continued, "All assets, real property, business interests, investment accounts, vehicles, pour into this trust. The sole trustee and beneficiary is Alexander Thomas Kane." Tyler's face went white. He flipped pages frantically. "But the dealerships, the cabin, those were supposed to—" "Supposed to?" Voss raised one eyebrow. "Verbal promises are not controlling instruments under North Carolina law. This trust is." Carla finally found her voice. "This can't be right. Thomas would never cut Brooke out. She's his daughter." I spoke for the first time. "He didn't cut anyone out. He gave me the choice." I reached into my bag, pulled out a single-page gift deed, set it gently on the table. "I'm prepared to transfer the lake house, the Smoky Mountain cabin, and both dealerships to Brooke as Dad's biological daughter with direct lineal descent." Carla exhaled, audible relief. Brooke's eyes lit up. Tyler actually smiled. I wasn't finished. "There's one condition." I nodded to Voss. He opened the laptop, turned the screen toward them, pressed play. Dad's face appeared again, the longer recording. Clearer, stronger day. His voice filled the room. "Brooke, I love you. I really do. You grew up in my house. You called me Dad, and I never once regretted that." He paused. "But I also remember who was there when there was nothing, when the first dealership was a dirt lot and a dream, when the lake house was a rotting trailer we fixed up on weekends. Alex never asked for credit, never asked for more. That's why I'm leaving the choice to him." He looked straight into the camera, straight at them. "The properties carry obligations, refinanced balances, lines of credit. If they transfer directly outside the trust, the banks will call the notes immediately. Negative equity, personal guarantees still attached." Dad's voice softened. "I didn't do this out of anger. I did it out of love, for the life we built. Alex will decide what happens next. I trust him, completely." The video ended. The room was dead quiet. Brooke stared at the frozen screen. Carla's perfect posture cracked. Tyler was already running numbers in his head. I could see it. I spoke again, voice steady. You can accept the gift, take title today, the houses, the businesses, everything, but you'll also take the debt service, roughly $1.8 million in accelerated obligations, no trust funds to cover it.
No co-signers, just you. Tyler's voice cracked. That's insane. No one could service that without selling immediately. Exactly, I said. Which is why Dad made sure whoever took them would have to think twice. Not out of cruelty, out of protection. Carla looked at me, really looked for the first time. Alex, we took care of him every day. We were there. I know, I said quietly. I was there too. I just didn't take pictures of it for Facebook. She flinched. Brooke pushed the gift deed away, slow, shaking. I can't. We'd lose everything. Tyler stood up. This is coercion. We'll contest. Voss smiled. Small, dangerous. On what grounds, Mr. Callahan? Lack of capacity? We have the neurologist's affidavit. Undue influence? No evidence. Duress? Your stepfather made this decision months ago in private. Contest it, and the trust remains frozen for years. Legal fees alone will be 7 figures. Meanwhile, no distributions, no sales, nothing. He leaned forward. The assets stay exactly where they are, under Alex's control. Carla looked at Brooke. Brooke looked at the floor. Tyler sat back down, defeated. One by one, they signed the refusal of gift. Notarized, witnessed, done. I stood up, gathered my copies, looked at them one last time. No anger in my voice, just fact. Dad loved you both. He just didn't want his life's work treated like a lottery ticket. I walked out. The hallway echo felt like freedom. 6 months later, I sold the dealerships, clean, to a reputable regional chain that kept every employee and honored Dad's name on the signs for 5 full years. The lake house? I kept it. Still go there every fall. Sit on the dock he built, fish the same way we used to. The Smokies cabin? I turned it into the first location for the Kane Family Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit helping adult children who've been quietly erased from blended family estates. Legal aid for trust contests, therapy grants, relocation assistance when staying hurts more than leaving. We've helped 17 families so far, most of them women in their 30s and 40s. Stories that sound way too familiar. Brooke? She tried to keep the lake house anyway, took out private loans, missed payments within 4 months. Foreclosure came fast. Last I heard, she's living in an apartment in Greenville, working at a chain coffee shop. No more Instagram posts about manifesting abundance. Carla? Downsized. Way down. A 2-bedroom rental near the airport. No more lake views, no more family gatherings. Tyler disappeared from Asheville circles. Rumor is he's selling cars in Charlotte, on the floor again. No management title, no Kane name to open doors. And me? I moved to a small house on the coast near Wilmington. Nothing fancy, just salt air, quiet mornings, and a view of the water Dad always loved. Every night I sit on the porch with his old fishing hat on the railing. I still talk to him. Not because I'm crazy, because he earned it. The greatest gift he gave me wasn't the money, wasn't the houses, wasn't the businesses. It was permission. Permission to say, my history matters. My place in this family was never up for negotiation. Permission to walk away from people who only remembered me when there was something to take. So if you're still watching, if you've ever felt like the extra kid in your own childhood home, know this. You don't have to scream. You don't have to fight in public. Sometimes, the strongest revenge is simply refusing to disappear, and then living well, really well. Because the people who tried to erase you,
They'll watch you thrive from the sidelines, and that is more than enough. If this story hit you, smash that like button. Subscribe if you want more real stories of people taking their power back. Turn on notifications. Part 3 of the series drops next week. Comment below. Have you ever been quietly written out of a family story? What did you do? Or what would you do now? I read every comment. You're not alone. Until next time, stay real, stay rooted, and never let anyone rewrite your place in your own life.